once you eat one of them, you got to keep going and eating more and more and more. Same thing with this. You convert one rental property into a group home and you go from making $200 a month to $2,000 a month. Mark my words, you will be shutting down all your other single family homes and converting them over to group homes. And the minute you got four of them, now all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what? Conservatively, I'm making 100 grand a year. Where else can you do that?
You turn the whole house into bedrooms and you rent by the room. Anything like that is going to be, successful.
Number one, the one we're talking about today is what, Kim?
Senior housing.
Traditional real estate investing is dead. Robert Kiyosaki and Ken McElroy think this is the solution.
The number one investment in real estate.
Be sure to watch until the end to uncover just how lucrative this housing solution can be.
Look, get started, especially if you already own real estate. All you have to do is get one of these group homes up and going, and mark my words, it's the most joyous thing you'll ever do. You get one of these things up and going, it's like taking a hit of crack. Not that I've ever done that, but like from the standpoint of, Lay's potato chips, you just, once you eat one of them, you got to keep going and eating more and more and more. Same thing with this. You convert one rental property into a group home and you go from making $200 a month to $2,000 a month. Mark my words, you will be shutting down all your other single family homes and converting them over to group homes. And the minute you got four of them, now all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what? Conservatively, I'm making 100 grand a year. Where else can you do that? There's nowhere else where you can do that. Right. And so Saeed's the perfect example of it.
This business, I would say, is very, very fulfilling. Waking up now, getting to help people, get people off the street, providing homes for people. Sometimes some people are just sharing tears when they walk into my properties because everything is clean, beautiful. I have people who share tears when they walk in there, getting off the street. So for me, it's something that I'm looking to do for a very long time, because it's just fulfilling, helping someone, getting someone off the street, helping people with, addiction. It's just fulfilling. And then the money is good. The cash flow is good. So to combine both of it is just amazing. I mean, previously, about a year ago, I know Andy, I actually heard him talking about it on another episode that I was looking to buy some businesses. Looking at the profit margin. Sometimes, 15% profit margin on the business and 10% profit margin. I was running the whole trucking company with huge amount of money. And then my profit margin was 10-15%. And if anything goes wrong, you are in the red. And I didn't like that. So I was looking to buy some businesses and all that. And sometimes I remember looking at all those businesses, 20% profit margin, 25% profit margin. And now I can run a business, it's not really, time consuming. And, I can walk away with 50-60% profit margin. That's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yep.
Andy, I know that's one of your favorite topics. Why don't you riff on that and give the folks some parting words?
Yeah, I think the profit margin is, for me, it's like the most important thing, right? Because none of us are running Coca-Cola. None of us are running, billion-dollar enterprises where you can sustain yourself off of a 3% margin, right? And even if you're running a little, I've had a variety of businesses and they're good businesses, but you take for example, an air conditioning business, you build it up, it's doing a couple $1,000,000 a year in sales, and maybe you can take yourself a $50,000 salary out of it. Well, by the time it's all said and done, realistically, best case scenario, on average over a 5-year period, best case scenario, you're making maybe 15% margins, maybe. And it's a lot of work. It is a ton of work, a ton of stress. So in my opinion, if you want to live off of your own assets and off your own wits, hands down, this is the single best industry that you could be in. And nobody's doing it. There's so much demand for this. There's no supply. So you come in, you fill the gap and you make your, 50-60% margins. It's wonderful. And you can feel good about what you're doing.
Yep. And you guys both hit the nail on the head. I got a post from one of our previous podcast guests and a post in school, but this is just a real life example. This is just a text that he got, just showing how this is really, it's the perfect win-win-win business. You're helping out your community, you're helping out your tenants. You're really kind of the last line of defense. Most of these people are staying in shelters or, staying on the street. None of these guys know about the business. They're the people with the property, so they're not going to work with these folks. So that's why you get just these, great messages. And as Saeed said, literally people that have just tears of happiness because you're just providing a place for them to live. And then at the end of the day, that's going to be reflecting to your bank account, the ultimate win-win-win business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fulfilling business, waking up, helping people. For me, I'm looking to build my real estate portfolio long term, and I love the benefit of real estate. I love real estate, the cash flow. I love the mortgage pay down. I like the appreciation. Like, I want to build my wealth, but it's just that right now, adding a group home model as an exit strategy, the cash flow within that whole equation, the cash flow, in addition to the appreciation, in addition to the loan pay down, all that benefit that we get from real estate, it just make it so amazing.
Want to learn more about the future real estate? Sign up for your free training material at www.grouphomeriches.com.